Hello, everybody, and welcome to another game here on the channel of War of the Ring. Today, we will be highlighting a Return of the King League game, which that abbreviation is dangerously close to being Rocket League. Um, um, that was sent to me. I know nothing about the winner or loser. Is between Alpharius as Shadow and Kapcerz as Free People. So let's dive on into this game. Free People start with Tom Bombadil, and I will go alone. That's pretty good. I will go alone. I don't believe... I think that can let you do some shenanigans in the north. I don't think and I know it doesn't save you a whole die. Shadow is moving, Black Captain commands. We're going to kind of just roll through this game. We're not going to spend too much time. There we go. I will go alone is spent to get to Old Fort. I thought so. I thought you could do something there. You got to get that healing in. And then that allows to draw into House of Stewards, so I bet you're feeling pretty cool about bringing Boromir. Isengard goes to war. Gimli goes his way. Everybody else goes south. Saruman comes in. Legolas goes to Lorien. And the Gondor boys go south. So, yep, this is a pretty cool setup for Free People. Shadow chooses to put Sauron to war. I think that's not a bad idea given how many companions are out on the board. You're going to need all the musters you can get as armies. And Barad-dûr to Gorgoroth. So, yep. End of turn 1. 3 Free People's nations are active. And away we go. Okay. Elven Cloaks and Fearfire Foes, Foul Thing and Fighting Urkai. Good cards. One I allocated. One I rolled. Decent roll for Free People. Honestly, the 2 Palantirs here, while you have stuff you want to play and cycle, not bad. Really. You're going to use Boromir's ability to move Gondor down rather than passing or House of Stewardsing or Power of Tom Bombadiling. These are definitely all words. Yes. Gorgoroth to Minas Morgul and Moria to North Dunland to Moria. Fellowship moves. Safe. Straight out to North Ithilien and Moria to Dimrildale. So we're kind of doing a Gondor attack. We're doing a Gondor attack here. Leaving one regular in Minas Morgul in case Osgiliath scouts around. Sure. I would definitely House of Stewards here. Fearfire Foes? Oh, to get Aragorn gone, activates Rohan. You should definitely redraw for Gandalf there. So a little bit of a miss there. Sauron starts going around. Goes fully around. Move in from Osgiliath and in from Iron Hills. All right. Shadow draws Denethor's Folly, which weirdly cannot be cleared by Boromir. That is an annoyance in this game. Fellowship moves again. Safe. Oh, forgot to draw for Gandhi. Hey, there you go. Good play on these guys. Good job. Draws into Riders of Theoden. Minas Tirith is attacked, so Gondor is at war. You do have a House of Stewards, so you can do and Horn of Gondor, which would be funny to play in Minas Tirith, just for the theme. But if you get Guards of the Citadel, you can also reinforce while under siege. And an 8-1-2 is probably not going to take a 4-1-2 with Boromir. and House of the Stewards. So that'll be fun. Also got a Grimgorn Scouts, so that could be good. Shadow gets Isildur's and Oleg High. Throws Foul Thing. Okay. Fellowship okay. 1 eye, 2 eyes allocated. For the Moria move, 2 more rolled, which is not what you want to see. And a beautiful Free People's military victory roll for Free People. Moves Rohan down. Interesting. Okay. Gorgoroth to Morannon. Nope. Double upgrade in Isengard. Okay. Rohan down. Okay. Rohan going to war this early is... Shadow's not happy to see that. Another Warg in Orthanc. Fellowship moves is hit on an eye. Do you take Gandalf to a 1 after you've separated this much? They do. And they're in Goblin's Gate. Down to Mary as the guide. Isildur's Bane is played for an eye. Of course it is. And Riders of Theoden is just flat played. Yeah, you're about to need to discard cards, and that doesn't make sense. Alpharius, not loving this. Yeah. Now this, I'm not keen on, but I don't know what I would suggest instead. So we're just going to keep moving. We're going to play Power of Tom Bombadil. So, yep. That doesn't activate. Forgot that. Okay. And we're into the next round. There is Another Way and Faramir's Rangers. Faramir still can have effect, so that'd be good. Shadow got Wormtongue and Threats and Promises and killed Wormtongue. Yep. Wormtongue wasn't going to be doing nothing this game. Although the Foulest Edge sometimes really worth it. Okay. 1 eye allocated, 1 rolled. Ugh, that is a less useful roll for the Free People. What are we going to do? We're going to hide Fellowship. Okay. Ooh, we bring in the Witch King. Make another Warg in Orthanc. Elven Cloaks. Sure. Fords attacking Rohan. Just trying to get... Okay. Card versus card. Bats on the Scouts. So, tough. Ugh. Well, so much for Fords of Eisen. Bringing everybody. We ain't afraid of no trees. Interesting. Free People will do Muster in Westimnet and Edoras. And Shadow obligingly attacks Westimnet. You don't want to free Helm's Deep? I guess he's worried about if he takes... Just leave a regular in Fords so he can't come around to Orthanc for free. Okay. Shadow gets their hit. Doesn't leave anybody behind, which is a little scary. Another elite in Edoras. I do not think they are giving Aragorn enough respect here. Far Harad to Near Harad is not a priority. I would be doing South Anduin Vale to Parth Celebrant or something like that. We need more units. 5 elites is not enough to take Aragorn here. Especially with the Challenge of the King / Sudden Strike just drawn. Black Captains, I do not think that's enough. Game deciding battle? Yeah, quite possibly. Strategy card versus character card. We're going to Sudden Strike here. Yep. A We Come to Kill could really make some difference. But you're going to be reducing elites immediately, so you won't even get the... maybe. I don't think I give We Come to Kill enough credit in general. The sudden strike gets 1. Shadow gets 2 hits. Free people only get 1. That does suck for free people. But the We Come to Kill gets nothing. Shadow draws into an onslaught. Presses, which is why he drew. But I guess you've overcome the city defenses, so you're going to want to press. Free people, what? Shield wall? Yep, shield wall. Shadow gets 1 hit. That's how shield wall works. It forces your opponent to only hit once. And there's 5 hits from the free people. So, do we have a dead Witch King? Because I know what free people's first move wants to be. They draw, it is a gift in Scouts. Sadly, no more sudden strikes for free people. They do have the mighty attack, which could be pretty good here. Great Host and Black Breath. Neither of those is going to be particularly helpful. Theoretically, the Black Breath would be helpful, but talk about a hand of not helpful cards. 1 eye allocated. I'm not sure that's worth it. And that's why it's unallocated. 3 eyes rolled, though, is a thing. Decent roll for free people. Come on. Yeah. We're going to try and stab that Witch King. Probably playing the mighty attack. There's the mighty attack. Just 1 hit. 3 hits for free people. So we got a dead Witch King, and he doesn't even hit back. Ugh. Yeah, that'll do it. Warg and Orthanc. The king goes to Ford's. Before mustering, because they're going to put another warg there. Are you really going to attack? He attacks Orthanc with 4 regulars. Interesting. Shadow starts moving down. That makes all sorts of sense. Free people pass. Orcs multiplying again. Yeah, this is a good use of a Palantir. You're going to need some more guys. Although that puts Sauron low on units. You can only make 6 more units as Sauron. An elite in Helm's Deep. Now the Rohan force pool is pretty big, but I always find it goes faster than you wish it did. And you're already down to 4 regulars and 1 elite. So I don't like getting well, no, you just lost a bunch of leadership, so you're gonna need Nazgul. So I don't hate that. That's fine. Another elite in Helm's Deep makes sense. Denethor's Folly is played. You really had nothing better to do with that Palantir. You could Stormcrow the dwarves. I suppose not. Okay, cool. Fellowship gets We Prove the Swifter, so a Daring Defiance, and a Sudden Strike. Hey, that could make a big difference. Path of the Woses can also make a big difference if Rohan meets up in Ford's and then just teleports to Osgiliath. That could be I could go get you a stronghold, a Minas Morgul maybe. Deadly Strife for Shadow. You have too many dice. You cheater. No. No eyes allocated when I moved, or when I rolled, excuse me. Pretty anemic roll for free people. They're really looking for some hybrids. Maybe some more characters, but just flat musters is maybe a little bit annoying. Leader in Helm's Deep and regular in Edoras. Shadow boost to Fangorn, and actually no Gandalf yet. That's not good for the free people. And okay, Shadow goes to. Why are we not advancing? There we go. Umbar and Fangorn. Yep. Okay. Really, the only character died who moved forwards? Okay. Hey, you have scouts. Although it'd be nice to play that as the Spirit of Mordor. Southrons and Easterlings go down. Do you take the opportunity to play Spirit of Mordor? Nope. Takes the opportunity to make a regular in Dol Amroth and a regular in Helm's Deep. That's the last. Rohan regular. Nope. Rohan's 2 more regulars. Okay. Shadow moves Southrons and Easterlings to war. An elite in Dol Amroth. So, yep, in preparation for theoretical Corsairs. No Corsairs is actually in hand, but nice to be ready. Fords is attacked. That's spicy meatball. Strategy card versus strategy card. Oh, look, the scouts. Yep, scouts to Aragorn rather than Helm's Deep, because that's the kind of game we're playing today. He did it once, he will do it again. A ring attack Orthanc. Ooh. You have a sudden strike, and that's about it. I do think it's hilarious. Devilry of Orthanc can be played on the defense. That is very funny to me. All right, what do you got, free people? There's the sudden strike for 1. That's pretty big. And Natten on the combat roll takes 1 back. Press. I mean, you're kind of pot committed at this point. No card. There's 1 more. 2. You need 1 more. Last press. He gets it. Ugh. So Saruman's dead. Witch King's dead. Mouth is not happening anytime soon. However, field battle. What in the... I mean, I guess you brave stand. Okay. That made more sense than I thought it did. And with 3 hits versus 0, it makes even more sense. He could have retreated out and not had to just be bottled up and eventually die. But at some point here, the free people are going to be 6 dice to what? Shadow 7? Or something like that? I always forget the numbers. Horde from the East is played in South Rune. Sure. You've got a pretty trash hand for this situation. And then draws into, hey, a new Power is Rising. 1 draw too late. That's funny. Book of Mazarbul. We could have the dwarves to war. Although at that point, no, you wouldn't even be close to early mouth. The elves aren't towards war at all. And they are under 0 threat. Corsairs does get drawn though, so that could matter. What a trash roll for Shadow. There's you won't be able to see it, but I'm going to glance at the stats. The stats are LeBroke. However, for their +4 on eyes, Shadow is +4 on eyes. So that sucks. Can the free people get Gandalf? Of course not. That would be too convenient. Muster regular in Helm's Deep and leader in Dol Amroth. Red tile goes in. Book of Bazarble's played to get Aragorn out of Orthanc. I like it. And we get the Dwarves to war. Shadow draws musterings of a long plan war. Could matter, although I think Shadow's still low on units. Yeah, technically. They could basically do everything the card does, and then they would be down to just elites for Sauron and the Easterlings. Dwarven elite in Erebor. Shelob's Lair goes in. I guess. Yeah, you can't New Powers Rising now. Erebor gets a leader and a regular in Pelargir. Sure. Just making units. The Easterlings go north. Yeah, I guess if you can get on top of Erebor before it goes anywhere, maybe you can kind of quell the dwarves. But there really aren't that many dwarves. Even if you make every single dwarf in the force pool in one location, it's just a 5/5/5. I mean, a 5/5/5 is absolutely terrifying as Shadow, but still. Dimrildale goes back to Moria. I do think that is a good idea. Fellowship moves. Okay. And is safe. So we're just ever so slowly, and man, yeah, so Shadow has only 7 dice. And they're gonna have to put one as an eye. Free people to draw a last battle. Hey, maybe we'll get to see that again. Check out the tournament finals game 1 if you want to see some more last battle play. Spoilers. Shadow draws a whole bunch of stuff, and by a whole bunch of stuff, I don't know why I didn't just say Orc Patrol and Return of the King / Swarm of Bats. Swarm of Bats is great here. I guess you chuck New Powers Rising. Right? Okay, Fighting Uruk-hai is fine. One eye allocated, one eye rolled. Yep. You're on equal dice, and those 3 musters are minimal usefulness to Shadow. And still no Gandalf. Yes. We're what? 5 rounds in of 5 dice not getting a single will. Fellowship moves. Is safe. Yeah, the Valar don't feel the free people need any help. More Nazgul mustard. That makes sense. Move. Hit for 3. Goodbye, hobbits. I would definitely reveal. He's just taking the corruption. Why? Okay, we're not going to spend too much time on that. More Nazgul in Dol Guldur and Morannon. File is played. Nazgul strike. That's handy. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Fellowship is hit for 2 reveal. Surely this time the actual... Yeah, okay, the hobbits all go to Lorien. And then it's not a reveal because Gollum says so. Elite in Erebor. Elite in South Dunland. The premier Shadow mustering location. South Dunland for 1 elite. Second only to a regular in Farharad and a regular in Nirn. So the free people put another elite in Erebor. That is the entire Dwarven Force pool minus 2 regulars and 2 leaders. So, half the force pool. Shadow attacks Orthic. I don't know, man. A 4/1/6. 6 HP versus 4. Gonna still need some more reinforcements, probably. Although the Rohan force pool is effectively gone at this point. So that's good for Shadow. Probably want to get those Edoras guys to Helm's Deep or even Fords. Okay, where was I? Peek behind the curtain. There was a pause in recording there because I had to go rescue my cat, who had climbed 6 feet up the tree in the back and was being attacked by birds. Okay, right. Witch King dead, Saruman dead. All right. Shadow gets cruel weather. There's dead men. Many kings and swords in Eriador. Probably swords is gone. Oh, look, swords is gone. Shadow. New Powers Rising. Hey! 1 eye allocated because he has to. You're right. The free people choose to... Was it only 2 movement? I guess it was. When I rolled, finally, Gandalf shows up. You're going to get him first, obviously. Fangorn, nope. We're going to put him in Lorien. It's too bad you don't have an Ent here. Obviously, Ents would be really handy here, but they would be useful for their combat effect even if they weren't. So, Elite in South Dunland, yep. Man, this is a funny thing about Free People's military victories. So, like, okay, Shadow has spent half the most of the Dol Guldur army, 3 musters for Nazgul, 2 musters for South Dunland, all just to retake Orthanc, making no progress on Rohan other than depleting the force pool. They've spent like 3 rounds worth of dice just to not have the Free People have 2 points. Shadow doesn't have any points, and the Fellowship's halfway to Mordor. Now, that said, Fellowship halfway to Mordor with 3 corruption and down to Gollum. So, but they do have There's Another Way in Bilbo's Song. So they're going to be at 0 corruption relatively soon. Fellowship moves. I would have considered very, very, very strongly playing There Is Another Way here. Just get it out of your hand. It's full effect. So, not hit. Armies move to Iron Hills. Does 8-1... So, I'm a big believer in field battles. This is part of why I lose games. But a 2-5-3 with Gimli, I field battle that all day long versus an 8-1-0. He makes another regular and a leader in Pelargir. Okay, so the Dwarven force pool, he chooses to undo and put the leader in Erebor instead. Okay. Nirn to Gorgoroth and Gap of Rohan to Orthanc. So we have a 5-3-6 ready to take Orthanc. The elves move down using Legolas's ability. Orthanc is attacked. Card versus card. Swarm of Bats on Daylight. Yep. I'm not even sure I would have wasted the card there. Used a card there. 2 hits for Shadow. 2 hits for free. Press. Card versus no card. Great Host. Ooh, the Many Kings could have maybe been worth saving. Maybe. 1 hit. Well, the 1 plus Great Host means Orthanc is recaptured. So a 3-2-6 though is barely enough to do anything that matters, but they do have their points back, and the elves go towards war. Shadow threatens to get a point someday. Yep. Moves Nazgul around, puts 1 in Iron Hills, I guess. Free People are up to 6 dice. Shadows on the Misty Mountains is a great card for the Shadow here. Free People get a Smeagol Helps Nice Master and Eomer. Probably throw... don't know what you throw there. Stacked hand. Maybe Eomer? Throws Smeagol Helps Nice Master. And declares into Dale for healing. Okay. 1 I allocated, 0 more rolled. Shadow has had so few attacks this game. So few attacks. They've had 24 dice, so they're -6 on attacks. And the Free People get a billion wills. Could be a little dangerous if Day Without Dawn. They do put a regular in Erebor and a regular in Pelargir as their first move. North Rune, the Mumakil factory is up and running. Although they've mustered most of them, right? Yeah, there's 2 more. And the last Dwarven regular in Erebor, like I said, the entire Dwarven force pool is a 5-5-5. So that one of them is an Ered Luin, and we got 1 more leader in the wings. Gondor leader in Pelargir, so that's the end of the Gondor leaders. I would have gone for hit points down there, but you have dead men, so you want to save 3 regulars. I get it. If Aragorn teleports down there, makes those 3 regulars, goes to his Gileath, relieves the siege. Honestly, I'd strongly consider clearing Denethor's Folly, but maybe you just relieve the siege and that'll do it. Elite in North Rune. You cannot use a character dice to make units in Pelargir. There we go. Okay. Musterings of long planned war, so I do believe those are in the wrong location. Yep, the Sauron units go in Nirn. There we go. That's Shadow Force Pool. Look at that. Shadow has all but 7 units on the map for Sauron and the Southrons and Easterlings, and it just doesn't feel like it's enough. Oh, jeez. Deadman is played. So, yep, there's Aragorn doing his thing. Fabulous. Love that. Yeah, I bet you do. An elite in Minas Morgul moves to Druidin, so the Shadow Army has no retreat. And there you go. Shadow puts a guy into Lossarnach, so they have a retreat path. Man, Shadow, free people had help unlooked for here. I think they spent it for the no quarter earlier, but still. And Gandalf moves to Osgiliath. So, yep. Dale, what are you doing? Getting an early mouth, I guess, but still. No hits. 1 hit back. Press. Yep, goes to Erebor. Now that the North is at war, Erebor is just going to sally forth and decimate the Easterlings and Dale. Shadow did get a point, so you know there's a moral victory there. Oh, it is help unlooked for. For Shadow, man. Dreadful Spells and Pits of Mortar. Dreadful Spells actually on Osgiliath here could really do some work. Throws We Prove the Swifter. You got a great hand. Hey, you throw We Prove the Swifter over Elven Rope? I guess. That's the problem. 3 eyes rolled for Shadow. No musters. Dale from Erebor is we're going to kick things off. Card. It is a gift. Oh. There, you know what? I take everything back. I said, is this the first time I've ever seen it as a gift played? I think I've technically seen it once before, but this is excellent. And it causes a bonus hit. So 3, no. And leader reroll. Boy, I did not know It Is a Gift worked on the leader reroll. That is a thing I didn't know. So 4, not 5. It's only 4. There's a 4. Okay. 5 back. Lose some units. Move out with everybody except 1. You have no dwarven backup. But you're kind of... But where are you? I mean, I guess you go for Dol Guldur and Moria. Shadow moves leadership around. I'm not getting that one, but okay. Make an elite in Dale. Jeez. Move to Gorgoth and Vale of Carnan as they go to retake Dale, but I don't know, man. A 155, a 165, excuse me, versus a 725. Why are there so many Northmen? Yes, many a Shadow player has asked this question. Free people draw Andoril. That's a good time. Yeah, Shadow, you don't have points. Dreadful spells on Dale for 3. That's not nuttin'. Elves go to war with Legolas's ability, and he can get the mouth, except he doesn't have a muster. Now, a 0/5/5, a 7/2/5, I think that's not crazy to hit that. You do have to be careful. If you allow them to retreat to Northern Ravanian, their last die can be moving to Southern Mirkwood, and then their first move next round can be besieging Dol Guldur, which you really can't defend. You've already played Orcs Multiplying again. You don't have Pits of Mordor. You do have Pits of Mordor. Okay, maybe you don't care about that. I think that's actually a reasonable position. Card versus card. Cruel as Death is fine here. Versus a Valor is a good time. Shadow gets 3. It's just 3. Free people get 2. Press, yeah. Kind of in a pickle. Stay. Ooh, okay. No card for Shadow. Brave Stand for 1. Okay. Shadow gets 2. Free people get 3. That's closer what you want. Press. Retreat to Woodland Realm. Yeah. All you have now is a 2/3/6 with Gimli. You no longer have access to the North Force Pool in Dale, which is the much nicer place for them to be. Shadow's actually doing a really good job here. The Fellowship's in Dale. It's turn 11. They're at 2 corruption. They're going to be at 1, assuming they don't move, because they won't heal in Dale. So, and actually, it's a good point. When Shadow attacked Dale to get north to war for an early mouth, or at least potentially early mouth, they did turn off healing for the free people, for the Fellowship. So, actually, we're getting dangerously close to the free people just having no more units. Yeah. Okay. The Fellowship does move. Oh no, is attacks Lossarnach. Yep, because then he wants to play Help Unlooked For. He gets the hit. And now he's about to Help Unlooked For the living daylights out of Minas Tirith. Help Unlooked For. That is a good time about to happen. Or, sorry, no, I said Help Unlooked For. I knew what I meant. Through a day and a night. That's a good time for free people. Ringwraiths are abroad and Rage of the Dunlendings. We'll pretend those matter. Words of Power could matter. Ringwraiths are abroad could matter. One Eye forced to be allocated. 3 more rolled. Poor Shadow. What is your +6 on eyes? Ugh. Only 1 muster. And you don't have Day Without Dawn versus 4 wills. Help Unlooked For is played, and Minas Tirith. Yep, they say it's no card always, so we're just gonna go no shining, obviously. 4 hits versus 1. 3 hits versus none. 3 hits versus none. Lay splat. A 7/1/0 did a singular damage on the way out. And now Gondor has a giant army. It could be an 8/2/7 with Boromir and Aragorn. And all the time in the world. Pass, no Day Without Dawn. Yeah. He's waiting for when free people roll 5. Yeah. Elite in Woodland Realm. Sure. Makes sense. Pass. Oh, it's always a good time for free people when Shadow gets to pass. Elite in Lorien. Yeah, that makes sense. I do not agree with using your 1 muster here. Yeah, that's correct. I propose. Go to North Ithilien. Okay. West Trondor, I don't mind. I don't think it's the best move, but I don't mind it. Because this is what's going to happen. Losternock to Osgiliath I don't like. I think Minas Tirith should go to Osgiliath, but whatever. Erebor, whoa. No. You put an elite in. I guess you have Shadows of the Misty Mountains. So maybe you're baiting free people to besiege Moria. I guess. So Moria is besieged. Now we Shadows. Ha! Do you have no more Nazgul? You have no more Nazgul. Ha! Dale from Woodland Realm, of course. I just don't see why we attacked. I mean, I guess I get why we attacked Erebor, but still. Free people get the hit. Shadow gets a hit, though. That matters. Leaves a dwarf in Woodland Realm. Sure. Thinks about casualties for a while. Sure. For being down 2 dice, Shadow's doing a great job here. Great company and the last scouts. Probably throw eagles here. Honestly, when free people do get to heal, I don't know what you'd throw. Hill trolls, they throw scouts. Jeez. And Nazgul search. The free people, the fellowship declares in Dale and sacrifices their 1 movement to heal. 0 eyes allocated, 1 rolled, and 4 movement. Man, 4 character dice. Erebor, okay. Gonna relieve the siege of Erebor. Heroic Death is played. Okay, I'm just gonna soak some hit into a leader. 2 hits for free, 1 hit for Shadow, 2 hits for Shadow. Gimli is taken as the hit. Yeah, you're just trying to save hits. But I don't know what we're even doing in the north anymore. I guess you just didn't want Erebor to fall. But you have some more Northmen, and you still have some elves. I don't know. Shadow moves at Nazgul to Dale. I do not agree with that at all, but whatever. Puts 3 in Moria. That's a not nothing. $5 in Moria. What do you got that I'm not thinking about? I guess you're thinking like spend the Cruella's Death and still get the full effect of your dice. Elite in Minas Tirith. Second to last, Gondorian. Pits of Mordor. Oh, right. Yeah, good job. Yeah, Moria ain't fallen today. Shadow's done a pretty good job making the free people not have great options here. A whole bunch of Minas Tirith moves to Osgiliath, so Schroeder has a 6/3/7 and through a day and a night, and he's about to go wreck shops somewhere. A Mumakil and Umbar. Osgiliath to Druid Forest, so it's a 7/3/7 with nothing to lose. The mouth comes into Dol Guldur. That makes sense. We threw a day and a night to Western Brownlands. Shadow is sad. I would absolutely muster an elite in Dol Guldur right now. You have Hill Trolls, so he attacks Dol Guldur, and you Hill Trolls Dol Guldur. Make it the best fight you can. Dol Guldur is besieged. Hill Trolls is played. So I guess you would have been 1 elite short if you Hill Trolls, but did what I suggested. So maybe that's not a good suggestion. So it's a 1/3/3 versus a 3/2/5, which that's not good for free people. And a 7/3/7 versus a 3/2/2. So obviously they can finish that off and then go swing west. We'll see what the rolls are for our 2 players here. Turn 14 gets Mirror of Galadriel and Círdan's ships. That charge could be a big deal in both of these sieges. Half-orcs and goblin men, though, is an excellent draw for Shadow. And the Dread and Despair is actually really key in Moria, possibly. Fellowship just stays in Dale and heals. So, yep. 2 eyes rolled. Decent roll for Shadow, though. Man, another beautiful roll. They didn't get wills for so long, and now all they can roll is wills. Dol Guldur is attacked. That makes sense. We're playing character card Anduril. Yep, we just want them gone. So 3 hits for free. 4 hits for Shadow, though. That's spicy meatball, as they say. Press. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. You've got the do line reinforcements. Character card versus no card. We got a heroic death. 1 hit for free. 1 hit for Shadow. So we'll just take a random leader. Press. No card, no card. 2 hits for free. 2 hits for Shadow. You press again? Man, the 7/3/7 just disappeared. No card, no card. Gets his hit. And the mouth is dead. I did feel I had too many dice. Oh, jeez. That sucks. Yeah, no. Well, an Isengard elite in South Dunland. What? We're not going to go besiege Dol Guldur with a 910. We're not going to recruit in North Dunland where we can attack Moria? Rivendell makes an elite. Sure. Orthanc moves to Gap of Rohan. And North Ithilien to Eastern Brownlands. Is that what that? Eastern Emyn excuse me. Free Peoples makes another elite in Rivendell. That's near the end of the Elven Force pool. Yeah, they got 2 regulars left. Yeah, okay. We're outside Dol Guldur and in South Dunland. I don't like that Shadow is 1 move from an attack. Yeah. Free People are reinforcing both armies. Rage of the... Okay, Shadow once again is ahead of the game, or at least ahead of my understanding of the game. They teleport 4 units to... Can that teleport Sauron units? It cannot teleport Sauron units, so that was an illegal play right there. The Sauron units cannot be in Holland right now. But Free People are fine with that. They're just going to move around. Yeah, it was illegal, but that's all right. Dol Guldur. Honestly, I prefer attacking Moria here. But Dol Guldur's fine. Hello? Okay. Free People move to North Dunland. Okay. Ringwraiths Are Abroad is played to stack Dol Guldur. I would put 2 or 3, but not everybody, because Gandalf's about to shine, and you'll need those in Holland. Dol Guldur is attacked. Strategy card. Are we Deadly Strifing? Deadly Strife versus Brave Stand, and there are how many companions here? 4. So that is the most depressing Deadly Strife. Second most depressing Deadly Strife. 1 hit versus 4. Stop. Yeah, definitely don't open with Deadly Strife against Gandalf in a siege. I would say open Dread and Despair. Press once, then Deadly Strife. Next round, Wizard Staff. Hey, that could see effect. King is revealed. Theoretically, Shadow has lost enough units now that they could actually get it again. Thranduil's archers for a Valor. No eyes allocated. 3 eyes rolled. This is a pretty tough roll for Shadow. Dol Guldur from Narrows of the Forest. Okay, sure. We're gonna prioritize that over. Yeah, that makes sense. Card, question mark, thinking. Sure. Card versus card. Charge. Okay, that's a good charge. Versus Dread and Despair. That's a good Dread and Despair. No hits from the charge. 1 hit from the battle. Ugh. No hits from the Shadow. Press. Yeah, you probably have to stay. Card versus card. The other Dread and Despair versus a Valor. 1 hit versus 2 versus way too many dice rolled. What are we doing? Okay, press, stay, no card, no card. I feel like you could have taken the casualties slightly different to get 4 dice still, but whatever. 2 hits from free, 2 hits from Shadow. There you go. Press, stay. 3 hits from both sides. Bunch of dead Nazgul. But the free people only have a 4-0-11. In Dol Guldur. Honestly, effectively no elves left. No dwarfs left. Just Northmen and 1 Gondorian. Shadow is really close to have just eliminated every single Free People's army unit that matters at all, ever. They are the 1 elven army away from just having killed every army. Shadow, what do you do here? You draw a character card. I don't know what you're looking for there. I mean, you got the Dread and Despair, so I assume that's what you were looking for. Free People draw Gwai here. Make an elite in Orthanc. Why? Not seeing it. Free People move to North Dunland. So they're threatening what? Orthanc? But they can't do it this turn. I'm not seeing it. Moria from Holland, that makes sense. It gets the hit. Free People move to South Dunland, and then Shadow just moves out towards Dol Guldur and Rivendell. Yeah, just go kill. Go retake your 2 points in Dol Guldur. Half orcs and goblin men in Orthanc makes sense. A ring to attack Orthanc. So all you have to do is roll enough attacks to take a 4-0-11 with a 4-5-4 that will have no leadership because Gandalf. But you have Relentless. That should just work. We'll find out. Balrog and Desperate Battle. An Ent. Hey, is that the really good Ent here? Is Ent's Rage, which is pretty good. It's the second best for the scenario. The best being Nameless Wood, the bonus 2 hits. Free People get a Daylight too, which is going to be a big deal. All right. Honestly, just for quick giggles, can Shadow race on points? 1 half move takes Dale and Pelargir. 1 half move takes Rivendell and Lorien. That puts you to 6 points. Not quite. even if you like rushed a Nazgûl or a Minas Tirith on top of that, you could get to 8. You'd have to get pretty darn lucky in like Erebor to get 10 this round. 7 dice just isn't going to cut it, or 8 dice. And that roll really ain't going to cut it. Shadow has exactly 3 attacks. No mouth, no ring wraiths are abroad, no black captains, no fighting or Akai. They have Grond, but no Witch King. The Free Peoples makes the last... okay, they move to Fords with a single regular? Why? And Narrows of the Forest, that I get. Shadow moves to take Rivendell. Free People moves into Dol Guldur and Orthanc. Yeah, I guess. I mean, but bring both regulars from Helm's Deep. You're a 100% everything in on this one battle. Free People draws strategy card, gets Shield Wall, throws Bilbo Song. Yeah, you're in on the military victory now. So, Dol Guldur, here we go. The game rests on this. And actually, Shadow does have one more attack. They have an Elven Ring that I glossed over earlier in my exhaustive list of things they can't do. Shine, of course. Wizard Staff. So Shadow gets 0, and Free People get 2. Press. I'm not sure I press here. You have one more attack. Why bother? But maybe okay. Card versus question mark card. Relentless versus Heroic Death. You got to take your 2 hits here. Oh, it takes 0. Ugh, imagine if you'd taken 1. They just, Heroic Death it away. And with that, I think we're kind of toast. Yep, Shadow needs to take one more hit. No card. Desperate Battle versus Shield Wall. The Shadow Army is just vanishing. Stop. Draws into Nameless Wood. Elven Ring. Okay, you're kind of in an impossible scenario with Shadow. So you in fact move the Nazgûl away with the ring to Orthanc and rest everything on winning that battle. A 1/7/4 with the Captain of the West and a Hobbit. Not that the Hobbit really matters. When you know end cards haven't been played yet, is either desperate or optimistic. Free People attack Orthanc. They daylight versus a Dread and Despair. Good way to dodge Dread and Despair. And they get their 1 hit. 1 each. Stop. You have 1 more dice, so why not? Moria musters. Orthanc is attacked. Character card. Oh, look, it's Ents Rage. I would have opened with Nameless Wood, but whatever. 3 hits for free. 4 for Shadow. That's not nothing. Press. But this is going to be the Nameless Wood. And he misses. He misses everything. Nameless Wood whiffs. Shadow gets 2. Uh-oh. Press. A 1/7 has been reduced to a 2/2/4. Now it has a Captain of the West, so it's still 5 dice. There's 1 hit. 2 back for Shadow. I don't feel like that was the right way to take the casualties, but whatever. We're pressing. 1 HP versus 3. No card. And Free People gets the hit. Phew, but Shadow got it 1 back. It was 2 HP. 2 HP away. Oh. Shadow was so close. The statistics are broken, so we can't look at dice rolls. All I know is that 466 combat dice were rolled this game. And plus 20 on 6s between them. I would imagine most of those were Free People. That was so close for Shadow. You almost had it. You almost held. What's the Free People? So they have some Northmen left, but on the map they have what? literally on the entire map. They have, 15 HP, something like that? Yeah, maybe more like 20. But GG, guys. Thank you for sending this in. I hope you all enjoyed. This has been a Return of the King game. Keep an eye. Definitely go. Keep an eye out for a Lords of the Middle Earth tournament coming up, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye.